What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually sponsored by Colour Contacts UK as they kindly sent me over some of their contacts. Really hope you enjoyed this sugar skull makeup that I did. I think it's probably one of my favourite sort of face paint, body paints makeup I've ever done. So let's get into it. So you can see at the moment I'm just going in and marking my face with a white liner. This pencil liner is actually just from Primark and it was a whole £1, so dead cheap, and I really need to stock up. I'll insert a photo of where I got my inspiration from, and all I literally did was just type in sugar skull or purple sugar skull on Google, and that's the main one that caught my eye. So now I'm just going in and doing some teeth, and the teeth are quite blocky, so you don't really have to be too careful with this. Just make sure that they are quite similar size and that they meet the edges where the jawline kind of stops. Now I'm going to go in with a kind of teal colour face paint. This is water activated as well. It's a Cameleon face paint from the Painttopia shop. I'll list everything down below, and as you can see I'm just going around everything and avoiding really where I'm adding some extra colour. I'm now going to go in with white and just colour the entire bit of the mouth in. At first I was trying to be really careful with the teeth, and then at the bottom I was just like, I'll just do it. Now going in with Bollywood, which is this awesome pinky purple colour. I'm just doing the sort of flowery eye bit around the eyes. And again, I'm not really being too careful towards the centre because I will be colouring that in black. I'm then taking the same colour and just marking out kind of where like the tongue would be on the side of the mouth. Now taking black in Black Velvet, I'm literally just going to go around everything that needs to be shaded in. Around the teeth you need to use a really thin brush to get some extra thin lines, and you're just going to go right around all the teeth area. I'm then going to use the same black colour and just paint the inside of the eye, but because it's water based, just be really careful not to actually get this in your eye, especially when you're wearing contacts, because it can hurt. Now I'm just taking a mixture of white and the sort of blue teal colour. I'm just adding some highlights, putting that straight into the face and then tapping that out with my finger. This is going to be really good just to add a bit of dimension to the face so it doesn't look too flat. I do end up going over this later on because I didn't think it was bright enough, but you know, you could probably do this before you add any of the other colours. I'm then taking another really thin brush and that black paint and just adding all of those sort of sugar skull type details around the face, all the little swirls and the dots. You can just totally change this as well to how you want. You don't really have to copy your, reference photo or anything. I did because I thought that the reference photo was really nice and I loved all the details. As you saw in the photo, there was actually a diamond in there, but I don't have that much room on my forehead, so I kind of just left that out and stuck with the sort of smaller details. I'm now going back over with the purple and just creating kind of like a gum line just above the teeth, but keeping in that same semicircle shape at the top and the bottom. And I'm also using the same colour to blend between the bright pink and then the black around the sort of gum line inside the mouth. Using the same purple, I'm just going to add some extra details around the face. Again, you don't really have to copy the design, but I really liked it. Drawing love hearts even the right way and then upside down is a lot harder than you think. And you can't really tell this is a love heart, but I think it still brought the makeup together, so. And then taking that same white pencil and just marking out where the neck vertebrae would be. If you notice, I do keep looking across to the side, and that's because I have a reference photo of a skeleton, just to really get an idea of the right shapes for, you know, the skeletal side of the chest. So the collarbones, the ribs, and all the other scientific words for bones that I have no idea what they are. So just marking this out, and it's also really good, especially with the collarbones, just to feel where your own collarbones are, and then you kind of have an idea of, you know, the width and the length and everything like that. So for the neck, I'm just totally copying the photo and, you know, just making it look like vertebrae, and I'm kind of going from larger at the bottom to smaller at the top. On this bit I kind of messed up in the video where the camera should have just been zoomed out a little bit so you could actually see me drawing the ribs, but you kind of get the gist when you see everything later on, and you kind of draw in between them as well to get that 3D effect. Again, with like the shoulders and the arm joint, I wasn't too specific or particular about everything because I know that that wasn't the main part of the makeup. I'm then using that teal colour mixed in with the white and literally just going in everywhere where the bones would be, and I'm kind of leaving a very small gap in between the bones just so that they're not too blended and I can see the definition between them. I use a larger brush for, you know, the larger areas, and then when I do the neck vertebrae and colour those in, then I just go in with a smaller brush so I can get all the detail. Again, you don't have to be too clean with this as you will be going around it with black. Then I'm just using a smaller paintbrush and just outlining all the bones, just so it makes it easier, so when I colour in the big surface area, you know, it isn't going to mark where I put the blue or anything like that. So just doing this makes my life 100% easier, and you can see it starts to really bring everything together, and it looks amazing when you've got a black background because you just kind of fade away and you're just left with this skeletal surface. It's so cool. I think my camera at this point does actually die, so once I fill all this in, I come back and it's just completely black. You get the gist, just colour everything in afterwards. Then I'm taking the Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette, and I'm actually going to use the darkest blue that's in there with a small fluffy brush, and I'm going to just darken the back bottom ribs, and then it gives the illusion that they're actually behind the top ones. And then take the same blue and just darken up other features of the bones because I don't want them to look flat or 2D. So doing this really just gives them a bit of definition, and it just makes it look cooler as well. I did take a little bit into the kind of breastplate in the middle, I don't know the real scientific word for that, just to darken and deepen that up a little bit. At this point, I was really impressed with how the shading on the body was going, and I kind of wish I'd spent a little bit more time shading on the face, but there's so much detail in there that it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I then go ahead and take the whitest shadow in the full spectrum palette and just use that as a kind of highlight without having to use a white water-based paint, because I didn't want it too harsh and in your face, and this really just was enough to put a bit of highlight and even more definition into the entire paint job. As you can see, I did end up adding a little bit more to my face, so I was quite happy with that. I then decided to go back around the eyes with some white paint because I felt that the purple and the black were kind of merging into one and it needed a bit more clearer and a bit more defined, so I did this and straight away I was so much happy with the entire face. I then decided to put some little dots in where the kind of circular bits around the eyes were, and this just brought more attention and detail to the face as well. So for this flowers bit, I was really not careful at all. I was just using a quite wet brush and just totally mixing in sort of the pink, the white and the black, and I wasn't bothered about the colours mixing because it already made it three-dimensional, and I really enjoyed that about it. And I just made sure that some of the flowers are a bit darker and some were a bit lighter, just to give, you know, a bit more of a gradient and things like that. And I just decided to place the flowers all around the skull as if it was kind of growing around it like vines, which obviously you'll see me paint in a bit. So now I'm going in with that same teal colour and just really nicely placing the vines as if they were, you know, growing around the bones. This is such a lovely technique. I've used it once before in another school makeup and I just thought it was amazing, and I'm so happy I did it in this because I wasn't too sure. I didn't want to mess up the paint job, and I really don't think it did. And again, as you can see with the brush strokes, I'm not being too careful. You know, some of the black's showing through, but it gives really nice minute detail within the leaves and everything. At this point I wanted to make the flowers a bit more defined, so I just took a bit of black on a small brush and just kind of dotted it around the flower, and it literally was just little dots and little squiggles just to make it look more three-dimensional. I then did the same with the black and just wrapped the black around the vines just to make it look a bit more 3D and so that it stood out amongst the obviously blue bones. Then just to highlight a little bit, I added a bit more of the white paint from Snazaroo, and there you have it. This was such a fun look to do as well, guys. Like, I'm so happy I did this for my first video for YouTube, and I really, really hoped you enjoyed it. And there you have it, guys. So this is my sugar skull. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and do not forget to add me on all my social medias. Alright guys, see you in my next video. Bye!